Kia ora and welcome, and thanks so much for tuning in to our 18th podcast. As per last week, we're changing things up a little bit. Mike and I are all over the place as usual, covering tech ed, digital nations, and a few other things. And we also have to deal with those pesky day jobs too. So this week, Mike and I, along with Fid from #Radio, caught up with Michelle Dickinson, aka Nano Girl, on Twitter, about the small things that make the world fascinating. And she broke a Surface 3 Pro for us so we can have a look inside. Enjoy!
We're at Victor Arena, day one of Tech Ed, and we've got with us Nano Girl.
Nano Girl's here.
So give us a bit of an introduction about what you do.
Okay, so Nano Girl's my alter ego, obviously. My real name is Michelle Dickinson.
Oh.
And I know, I'm sorry. I didn't wear my cape, otherwise I'm Nano Girl there. And so I'm a nanotechnologist, and I have a lab here up at Auckland University that breaks nano things. So I run a nanomechanical fracture lab that I built 5 years ago, and basically I do a lot of devices, so hardware that come in. Basically hard drives have a 4 nanometer DLC thin film on the surface, and so I test the rigidity of those, make sure that they're scratch resistant. So I do a lot of high-tech stuff that comes through my lab, and that's what I basically do.
So you make money out of breaking shit.
And never having to put them back together.
That's awesome.
How do you get
Which
that
is
job?
the best.
That's awesome.
Like, I didn't think that existed, right? Because when you're a kid, you break stuff, and your parents are like, don't break that. And then I found that I could do that and people pay me.
I remember getting in trouble for breaking my TV as a kid.
All the time. I'm old enough to have a video recorder and literally owned it for a day. And I was like, how does this work? Took it apart. We never watched videos again.
Yeah. So
You must have a massive sense of curiosity.
A little bit too big sometimes, but yeah. I always want to know how things work, and I think it's really good to not just accept the technology, but to understand the fundamentals of how it happens so that you can actually be part of it.
So you did the presentation, you were the first keynote speaker today.
I was.
And you pulled apart a brand new Surface.
I know.
You got to destroy a brand new
Isn't that
Surface.
crazy?
Yeah.
It was the first Surface that ever entered New Zealand, and I broke it before anybody got to use it.
You're kidding me?
No. Yeah. I don't think they were actually that impressed. I don't think that was part of the deal, but...
And all the guys out there were going, I could have bought that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were like, that's such a waste.
So
And I'm
this
like,
is the Surface Pro 3.
we have in front of us the Surface Pro
The
3.
remains of a Surface
But
Pro
this
3.
is the broken one, so I had to undo. So I had to take a glue gun, a heat gun, because it's all glue bonded here. So I had to take a heat gun and literally sit around here for hours and melt this glue on the side so I could take off the optically bonded touchscreen here, and then inside you can see the electronics.
Just to paint a picture, we're sitting around a desk at the moment with fucked.
There's a lot of
Surface sitting in front of
some
us.
chips and some cameras and some batteries and some touchscreen.
It's all plastic and metal now. That's all it
Pretty
is.
much.
Brand new device
Silicon
none of
bits.
us have ever got to play with, and there it is broken.
Because you never get to see the inside of devices anymore,
It
right?
has been
That's a good point.
fascinating as well, like
I
seeing.
think it's really important to take a look inside and see what's in there, because what they do now is they don't put screws on things anymore, right? So as soon as you take it off, the warranty is voided, so you dare not do that. So if you have a product that you need fixing, you take it back to the store, and they do it all in secret, and you never get to see what's inside.
So they
And-
just sit around with a hot air gun.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know,
100%.
and you know all that they're doing is you walk out, they hit Google and
yeah.
how do I
Quick
replace
YouTube
my iPhone
tutorial.
screen?
Oh, how do you do this?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important you get to see what's in the inside, and you can see everything, right? You can see the Intel processor chip. You can see that there are 4 lithium polymer batteries here. You can see the little tiny camera and literally how tiny it is.
That
We've
is
got
so
some RF
amazing.
shielding going on here because this is the antenna board there, and you don't want that to interact with the rest of it. So, and then you can see the fan. Look at that fan. It spins around if you blow.
That was a big talking point on Twitter, right?
Wow.
Just
Yeah.
recently.
It wasn't just the fan, though. It was the
It was the cooling
the water
technology.
cooling.
The
There's
water
actually
cooling.
water tubes in here that transfer the heat from one end to the other. Pretty cool. When you look at them, I mean, you guys can see it. It looks like 2 squashed worms,
Yeah.
basically. And inside that cools a lot of the system.
We were saying earlier that like in PCs, water cooling is nothing new.
No, but actually in a tablet form, it's incredible. Nobody else does this.
Yeah, to have it in a handheld device,
Yeah.
it just seems crazy because if you drop your device and you break the water
Right.
open, your device is...
But when you actually look at how they've structured this, you can see why it's not an issue, because it's a flat tube as opposed to a rounded tube, and actually something else is probably going to break before this does if you drop it.
Yeah. So we talked about your presentation earlier, and we sort of, one of the takeaways we got from it was it seemed like a really cool infomercial for the Surface.
Yeah, and so I should state that I don't work for Microsoft, and
Yeah.
I will break anybody's product. And so what I wanted to do was show you what was cool about it, and I
Yeah.
will do that with anybody. I mean, everybody's got cool technology right
definitely.
now.
See, now I'm nervous because she's sitting next to my Mackie.
Or I've taken one of those apart.
Yeah.
And so, it was an infomercial in the way that I was at a Microsoft conference talking about a Microsoft product, but I could have been anywhere, talk about anything.
Yeah.
I only talk about the technology and what I like about it. So I
Yeah.
won't talk
Right.
to you about the bad bits.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the innovation, and there's a lot of innovation in this product, which was surprised me. I will admit that I'm
Yeah.
a Mac user.
Yeah.
And so to be at a Microsoft conference when you are comfortable with Apple products and to be promoting, Microsoft
Yeah.
products,
Yeah.
I was like, this might go against who I am.
Yeah.
But I was actually genuinely surprised about how much I liked it.
You showed us a photo of you at the Redmond office,
Yeah.
and you got your iPad on the table, your
Nuts.
iPhone
I
next
thought
to
I was
it.
going to spontaneously combust. I thought they had like some sort of trigger system
yeah.
that any Mac product would not work in their offices, but it
Yeah.
did. So, I mean, my thing is I'm not biased. I talk about tech for anybody. I don't work for any of the big corporates. And so I like to just talk about the tech and not say, hey, buy this or buy that. I'll tell you what's good, and you can make your own decision on it.
Yeah. So, have you done this with like other events as well?
This is the first big event. I've done this and I've taken apart a lot of stuff. Just
Yeah,
nobody's
yeah.
really given me free things to take apart before, which is pretty fun.
So do you normally have to pay for the stuff you want to take to bits?
Well, usually I just buy something and get bored with it at home and take it
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
on my own and then not know how to put it back together.
Yeah.
So this has been nice to have the freedom to actually take apart, I think, the first one that ever came to New Zealand. So
Yes.
before we had a working one, I had already taken apart and broken the only one we had in New Zealand. It was pretty fun. I think some people were pretty annoyed with me, though, that they didn't get to play with it before I broke it.
Yeah.
It's such a cool idea, though, to, as you say, to because normally it's a screen.
Yeah.
It's a flat screen, and it feels nice, as you
Right.
said. But to open it up, I mean, even all the geeks out there who have looked and touched and they've opened their own PCs. They've never, as you say, never done this before with tablets, and
No.
you could see them all even full going. So that's
Because
what's
you're not
in there."
allowed.
Yeah.
And
You're
so
not allowed,
this
yeah.
is really
Well,
nice.
you're
And so
investing
we've all taken
shitloads into these.
heaps and heaps. And I just think it's really important to educate people about the technology that goes in there, because your tablet isn't a magical device. It's also got chips and components in there,
Yeah.
but you just never get to see the inside. You can build your own PC at home, right? We all know how to do
Yeah.
that. You can't build your own tablet, and it's like a mysterious box
true.
that nobody...
It's a dark art.
Yeah, and so I'm exposing the dark art to let everybody know, look, this is what's in it, this is why it's cool, let's open some more, let's compare them, and let's talk about this from a tech point of view.
And you're also going to be at another event later on next month.
End of
Coming
this
up.
month, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Digital
Digital Nation.
Nation.
Yeah.
I will be at Virtual Arena doing Digital Nation, doing a similar thing. So Digital Nation has a really broad audience, but
Yeah.
it has a lot more kids, and I'm really passionate about getting kids to understand the technology that they play with.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you what products I'm going to have there yet, but hopefully I'll have a gaming device and a tablet and a PC so that kids can just tinker
Yeah.
and actually understand the thing that they play with actually has devices in it, and this is what the chip looks like, and this is what the fan looks like, and this is how it inputs the data, and just gives kids an idea of what actually goes on underneath the box.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Well, one of the things that I mean, we're in a Microsoft event, but the Microsoft which was IT for a lot of people, was this is how you use Word. And that becoming a consumer of IT. And to be fair, Microsoft have changed that now as well. But you're taking it to it is not magical.
No.
It is just a machine that does
So
stuff.
let's stop being a consumer and let's be an understander. Because if you understand the product, you can buy the right product as a consumer for you. You're not just picking up the fancy schmancy, hey, this has got nice corners or rounded edges or comes with a flashy light. You're actually buying the appropriate product. And I think if you understand the technology, you can make that decision, and you don't have to be brand loyal because you like its shininess, right? You're like,
Yeah.
hey, flashy lights. You can actually
Hearing
be
that,
like,
Raj?
this
You
is
listening?
what's going to
Yeah.
suit me.
I like shiny lights. All right. Don't hate me because I like shiny lights.
And I
Especially
think-
apple-shaped shiny lights.
Hey,
But we've reached this
We'll talk
demographic
tomorrow.
where if you don't understand what's in it, you don't know what you're buying.
Yeah.
And so my whole goal is
Yeah.
to educate the public about this is what's inside each of their devices. I don't judge you for what you buy. Just make an educated decision based on what you need, and everybody has different needs.
So is there any way that, apart from coming here, obviously, to this event and that next event, is there anywhere that anyone else can find that information out? Do you put a
Not
YouTube
yet, but there
videos?
will be. So I'm
Ah,
actually, I think I can announce this officially online. I'm about to launch a charity which is going to do exactly
wow, really?
this. So myself and Vaughan Roswell, for CEO of Vend,
Yep.
we're putting together a charity, and we're actually going to have a physical space in Auckland, and then we're going to open a Christchurch one and a Dunedin one and a Wellington one, where everybody can come. It's like I'm going to call it a museum of the future.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a place. So museum is like the past. We're going to have future technologies opened up, so you can look inside, you can play with gadgets, you can compare all the different competitors and see how they work.
It's a candy store.
Awesome.
It sounds like a candy store to me.
For tech junkies.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully going to educate kids, because kids, we grew up in a generation where you could fix your car and kids can't do that,
that's
right?
what I was just about to say before. Is like every second guy's old man used to be out in the shed fixing the car or fixing the lawnmower.
But we have consumable products now that don't let you tinker. And so my goal is to go back to old school, pull one apart that isn't yours, that is accessible to everybody in the public, so you can actually see what's inside them.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
really cool.
Very cool. Down in Miramar, we've got the Maker Party that Mozilla Foundation are running, and it just happens to be Miramar.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to talk about it, but yeah, that's a very similar thing. And in Christchurch, they've got Maker, the Maker Box, and similar sort of. Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to have a generation of kids who just don't understand how things work and become the disposable society, right? Because if you don't know how to fix it, then you throw it away and buy a new one.
Yeah.
And we've got to realise that there's a lot of rare earth metals that go into these, and a lot of things that aren't renewable.
Yeah.
Let's think about fixing things rather than disposing them. And to fix things, you sort of have to know how they work.
Yeah.
Good point.
No, awesome. Where can people find you online?
You can find me. My website is emmydickinson.com, or you can Google Nano Girl. My website is nanogirl.net. Both of those will put you to the right place. And Emmy Dickinson on Twitter too. Tweet to me. I'm quite happy.
Are we going to be able to? We will be able to find more information about the charity.
Watch this space. Pledge Me next week. We'll have the big crowdfunding announcement, but I can't tell you officially yet because we're just branding it.
Okay.
But
so if we follow your Twitter account,
follow
we'll
my
see
Twitter. It will be tweeted galore as of next week.
And I know we all really enjoyed your presentation today.
Thanks,
so
guys.
That was cool.
yeah,
That's very cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming on hashtag.
No worries.
That was a fun interview. Having a look inside that Surface Pro made my Apple heart sing, because I saw like bits and pieces in there. Not much to it, actually. But anyway, that was a fun time. Thanks to Michelle again for giving up her time during Tech Ed to have a chat with Mike Fitt and I. That was an awesome time. In fact, Nano Girl actually inspired me to rip open my iPhone 4S, which was crapping out anyway. And the amount of pieces in that thing will astound you. I've got pictures of it on my Twitter account at NZRaj.
And as always, don't take our jibber jabber as gospel. Get all the links to the stories we reference in our show notes. All the notes are in one place. You've used your brain, you found them. They're linked from the hashtag me podcast post, and that goes up live on Tuesday. Or you can simply Google Access Granted Show Notes.
And on Twitter, look for me at NZRaj and Mike at Miramar Mike. Use our podcast hashtag AccessGranted, or email us at accessgranted at hashtagme.co.nz. And for all the other hashtag goodness, such as the Twitter links, the Facebook page, news, prizes and events, and much more, go to hashtagme.co.nz.
Thanks for your time, and see you next Tuesday with the Kiwi tech news and interviews for those that make our computers do what they do.
hashtagme.co.nz